Congratulations on being the newly elected treasurer for Allen Elementary PTA. You're probably wondering, now what? My name is Pat Lin, and I'm the treasurer for the 2021 and 21-22 school years. This series of videos are my take of my experience as the treasurer in hope to help you transition into your new role. Please note that when I was the treasurer, we were in the midst of a global pandemic, and things were done a bit differently. Meaning, as a board, we could not meet in person. And because of that, I was working primarily with digital documents and scanning paper documents into digital copies. This is to help with audit and getting much needed signatures. It also came in handy in making these instructional videos. As in-person activities increase, some of my processes will need to change, and I will leave it up to you and future treasurers to prepare those instructions. As for this video, I will go over some key areas I felt were important and helpful for me. But for a deeper dive into the treasurer's role, please go to the California PTA website, capta.org. I will also make separate videos on the daily activities, such as how to enter information into the financial system, how to prepare the treasurer's report, the bank reconciliation, and other annual filings. Let's begin. Starting with the background, it's worth noting that Allen Elementary PTA is not a standalone organization. We are part of the California PTA, and we have to follow their rules to maintain a good standing as a nonprofit organization. And the key one among these for the treasurer to know is the annual filings and payments, which we will go further in the individual's training videos. Next, it's important to know that currently the Allen PTA has 2 bank accounts, both with Bank of America. The checking is primarily for operations, and the savings is where we keep the outdoor ed funding. It is important to know that the savings account is an interest-bearing account, and we do not write checks out of it. So during the year when there are candy sales or any fundraisers specifically for the 5th grade outdoor ed program, it goes into the savings account. And when the actual spending comes, as in the invoice for the outdoor ed and the transportation, is paid out of the checking and then a transfer from the savings to the checking account. As mentioned earlier, there are certain things that really falls under the treasurer when it comes to good standing, including following the procedure required by the California PTA, which includes monthly treasurer's report, monitoring the budget, following the procedure in dealing with cash and payments, and then completing all those annual filings. But as a treasurer, it's not just bookkeeping. You can also be part of the solution in helping the other members and the other board members to achieve their goals and still follow the rules. But know that this is not all on you. The responsibility of maintaining good standing falls on the whole PTA as well as the school, and not just the treasurer or the president. These are all the monthly activities I do, starting with entering the cash deposits into our financial system. Then I enter any checks that were written and signed but hasn't entered into our system. I also at this point review all of the reimbursement requests and create a disbursement log that will be brought before the board for review. After the cash and the checks are done, then I go into the bank reconciliation portion of the financial system and do a bank reconciliation to catch any missing items. After the bank reconciliation is done, then I do the treasurer's report, and this is now preparing for the meeting. And that would include comparing budget to actual, do the treasurer's report that lists out all the activities, and then make preparing the disbursement report. All of these items I will be preparing a separate video on. Next are some key calendar deadlines that you should keep in mind. September, we have to get the budget done and get it approved by the association. Without approved budget, we couldn't write a check. That's very important. October and November really is where all of the annual filings comes, most of it, I should say, being the membership, insurance, and Zoom license need to be paid to the 17th district. And then all of the annual filings with the IRS, the California, and the AG are all also done by November. I usually do both at the same time because a lot of these reports also need to go to the 17th district. In January, we need to file workers' comp. It's not about filing a claim, it's about filling out a form to tell them whether we needed workers' comp coverage. And so since we don't have any employees, we're not paying anyone out of our pocket, therefore there is no workers' comp. In May, we need to make sure that we are paying our final membership pass-through to the 17th district. And we'll talk more about it when we go into the actual disbursement part of the video. Lastly, the last association meeting, the association needs to approve summer funding. This is to utilize some of the budget in the current year for the summer before the budget is approved in the new school year. This is to allow the president and the treasurer to purchase and plan for any programs that they want to do during the summer, such as back to school events and buying supplies for the new year. Maintaining your records is important to keep in mind retention. There are records we need to keep for 7 years, and there are records we need to keep forever. The full list is on the capta.org website. And straight from the California PTA, here's what you need to keep in your binder or folder as a treasurer. And there is an exhaustive list, but then this information is also available on the website and also on our Google Drive. The last two slides, this cash verification and the disbursements, are also requirements that the California PTA have set, and we need to follow it. We cannot alter these. The cash verification is a form that at any event that deals with money, that the people who are handling money needs to complete. And there needs to be one person who's counting and the other who's watching, and both need to sign. Then there's a custody of the form where as the money is transferred from the person who is counting to the person who is depositing, they then also need to fill out another cash verification form and do another cash verification, meaning count the cash, count the check. Next, the disbursement. This is the entire flow chart. Know that we start here, where the association needs to approve the budget. Even though the budget first goes to executive board for consideration and approval and amendments, the executive board really has to bring it before the association for approval. And in that same meeting, we go to step 1, which is that the association not only approves the budget, but also needs to approve the release of fund. Without approving releasing a fund, we still cannot make any payments. Next is that after the program has been approved, the budget has been approved, then the chair or the committee can submit a proposal to the executive board for review. The proposal should include what they plan to spend, what they think the cost would be, and what they are planning on spending on, and when it is. Once it is approved, they need to then start working on it and keep all of the invoices and receipts. And if they needed advance payments so that they can start buying things, they need to also get that approval from the executive board. Then they submit all of the attachments, including the reimbursement form, the invoices, and any receipts to the treasurer, with also the president's review. Once the treasurer gets all of those documents, we then review it and compare it to the budget. We put it into that disbursement list. We bring it to the executive board for review and approval. And if there is urgency in payment, such as an invoice will be late, we can potentially bring that to the association because majority of the executive board would be at the association meeting. Once the disbursement has been approved, then we can cut the check. It needs 2 signatures, the president, the treasurer, or the vice president. 2 signatures from anyone on the signature list. Then it comes to the end. Once the check has been filed, we then need to prepare a list of the checks that was written between the last treasurer's report with the association and the next one. And usually I just embed this into the treasurer's report. Next, I'm going to go over how things are organized. The Allen Elementary PTA treasurer has a designated email account specifically for treasurer duties, and that account is ptatreasurer@allenschoolpta.org. The purpose of this is for record retention and also to allow any vendors to send information to the treasurer without worrying about who to send or who is off the office. Once you have signed in through Google, you will get to this banner right here. I have bookmarked several items that are important to the treasurer's duty, including My PT Easy, which is the financial system, the Allen Elementary Staff Directory, the Bank of America login, Amazon Smile organization. This is a way for us to get passive money donations from Amazon as families are purchasing stuff from Amazon. The AG office filing information, and then the California PTA website, including their link directly to their training. We're going to first go to the email. The way the email is organized is that I put all of the emails for each school year in each of its corresponding label. And at the end of the year, I just click on the emails and I move it to the specific year that I want. You can also add subcategories, as you see in 2021, additional labels within. I also maintain a permanent file for items that I don't want to lose. And so that even if I have to remove all the emails within these labels, the items that I want to always be able to find, such as the teacher's roster, bylaw, those things are still remained in the permanent file. Next, the Google Drive. I actually rely on this a lot. This is where I am housing all of the financial reports, all of the information that are needed to be passed from treasurer to treasurer. I created a folder for each work paper, and then I can also use this to share it with the auditor as needed or with whoever that needs to see it. Next, again, a permanent file. This is where I will store the bylaws and any other documents that really needs to be maintained forever. Going back to the main drive, I also created a public folder, and this public folder is just an easy way for me to put all of either a link or an actual folder for specifically related to meetings. And I share this with Kevin, the secretary, so that he can also access and make edits. And you can see that we create a folder for each meeting, and then Kevin has been putting in the agenda and the minutes, and I put in the treasurer's report. Going back to the main, I have a folder for template and then the treasurer's training instruction. This is also where you will see the presentation as well as the virtual leadership academy that I went to when I first became a treasurer. Within the work paper, let's start with the 21-22 work paper. What you see here is a duplicate of what I have saved and worked on directly from my desktop. And so throughout the year, I save documents into my desktop and I move them as I complete them. And as you can see, everything that is here are all in here. And that concludes the overview. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to check out the other ones as you need them. And I wish you good luck. I'm sure you'll do great.